I want us to really focus on inputs versus outcomes. And this is what happens is a lot of times we look at short-term outcomes and we don't really think about long-term outcomes. So I want us to look at a couple of issues that actually are very relevant to what we've talked about today. Let's take, for example, our health, right? The input is we can exercise, we can do our push-ups, we can go to the gym, whatever it is. And the short-term outcome of that is very little. We don't, come home with the 6-pack of abs or, pounds and pounds lost. The long-term outcome, though, if we stick with it, is increased health, longevity, more ability, etc. Okay? What happens all the time is that we really, in our society in this day and age, we want the input to create the long-term outcome. And when it doesn't, we quit. We start to distance ourselves, and instead we go the opposite because the short-term outcome is quicker. It's that self-gratification, it's that or immediate gratification. So we don't exercise, and guess what? Short-term, well, we don't have to hurt. We feel great because we didn't have to lift weights. We don't feel sore. We can do something else. The long-term, though, of that is that it leads to poor health, low self-esteem, reduced longevity. And so the key is to start identifying your inputs as the victory, as the success, as the win. Because we can look at the long term and we want the emotion that comes from the 18-month vision to really drive our excitement. But also that's really so that it pushes us through the really hard times, through the really difficult times. Okay, let's look at another one, conflict with others. So here we go, input, confront it. What's the short-term outcome of that? Well, it depends on how good we are at it, honestly. So it can be tough to navigate. It can be awkward. It can be uncomfortable. It can be a failure, right? We might just have a really bad fight. The long-term outcome, though, of confronting it is that we develop the ability to have these tough conversations. We really get into solving problems instead of brushing them under the rug and them recurring, right? And so that's where we start to get, short term. Well, I can start this fight, but do I really want to? And so the other option is we just avoid it. We avoid it. And what do we do when we avoid? Well, it's just more comfortable. I had one client, she had 3 yoga studios. She kept avoiding these really tough conversations with her 2 managers, putting them off. Oh, I think they're fine. I think they're good. Everything she was telling me about them was red flags like crazy. One day, guess what? She came back and she said, hey, my managers quit and they opened up another yoga studio 3 streets down. She didn't confront it. She didn't want to put in the work to get good at navigating those difficult conversations, those uncomfortable conversations, and eventually one day developing a strength for that. So instead, she got the ultimate long-term outcome, which was a terrible hit to her business, terrible in way of losing managers and then creating a competitor. So the short term, we've got to embrace it, knowing that it may not be exactly what we hope. And if we do it and fail, then we still have to celebrate that we tried. We have to celebrate that input with a commitment to keep trying, to keep putting the input in, knowing that long-term it will get there as we add skills and tools, etc. So last one, try something new. So what happens? We try something new. Well, we look dumb. We feel clumsy doing it. We do it wrong. Long-term outcome, we have new skills. We've got new abilities. We've got confidence. On the flip side, when we don't try something new, then yeah, we might have relief. We might save face. We might protect our egos. But long-term, we create a pattern of an inability to try, an unwillingness to try, even potential just avoiding failure. That just becomes reinforced. And so in all of these, and think about your specific scenarios, we can confront things, we can try things, we can put in the effort to exercise or to eat right. Those short-term outcomes, they're not super exciting. But if we can get to the point where we really truly celebrate the effort, the input, then the outcomes will come there. If we go to the golf course and we go to the driving range and you're hitting it, towards the pin I would be a terrible coach if I said, that one didn't get in the hole. Next, that one didn't get in the hole. Next, no, still not getting in the hole, right? But if I say, hey, straighten your arms, bend your knees, shift your stance, swing for, pull back further, then I'm helping you improve. The input, your golf swing, is more likely to create the outcome that we're looking for. And my friends, we're not looking for short-term outcomes. We're looking for long-term outcomes. So let's celebrate the input. Let's start becoming people who try, who put in the effort, and trust that the long-term outcomes will be there. Because why? The performance of routine creates routine performance.